For centuries, scholars, skeptics, and believers alike have looked at the Bible as a sprawling, complex library. 66 distinct books. Written by over 40 human authors, across 3 continents, spanning 1,500 years. To the untrained eye, it can seem like a beautiful but chaotic mosaic, but buried in the exact center of the Old Testament lies a prophetic masterpiece that defies mathematical probability. A book written exactly 700 years before Jesus of Nazareth was even born, the book of the prophet Isaiah. Isaiah contains exactly 66 chapters. But this isn't just a random coincidence. What if I told you that the book of Isaiah is not just a book within the Bible, but that it is a perfect, divinely compressed blueprint of the entire Bible itself? Every single chapter of Isaiah aligns flawlessly, in order, with every single book of the Holy Scriptures. Today, we decode the ultimate architectural signature written in the pages of history. To understand the Isaiah Code, we must first look at the structural anatomy of the Bible. The Christian Bible is strictly divided into 2 distinct testaments. The Old Testament contains exactly 39 books, focusing on the law, the rebellion of Israel, and the impending judgment of a holy God. The New Testament contains exactly 27 books, beginning with the arrival of the Messiah, focusing on grace, redemption, and a new creation. Total, 66. Now look at Isaiah. For over a century, even secular historians have noted a massive, jarring shift in the text right after chapter 39. From Isaiah chapter 1 to chapter 39, the tone is heavy, urgent, and terrifying. It deals entirely with the holiness of God. The broken law, the stubborn rebellion of humanity, and the coming wrath of captivity. It is a flawless theological mirror of the 39 books of the Old Testament. Let's look at the very first link. Genesis is the book of creation, the cosmos, and the tragic introduction of human sin. Open Isaiah chapter 1, verse 2. What are the first words? Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me. The exact same cosmic witness, the exact same tragedy of rebellion. If the first 39 chapters are the Old Testament, then chapter 40 must mark the exact beginning of the New Testament. The 40th book of the Bible is the Gospel of Matthew. How does the Gospel of Matthew begin? It introduces John the Baptist, emerging from the Judean desert, shouting, "The voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare the way of the Lord." Now, let us flip our Bibles open to Isaiah chapter 40. This is the exact pivot point of the book. The heavy judgment of the first 39 chapters suddenly vanishes. Verse 1 breaks out in stunning comfort. "Comfort, comfort my people, says your God." And what does verse 3 say? Word for word, written 700 years prior, the voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare the way of the Lord. Make straight in the desert a highway for our God. This is not a vague thematic similarity. This is a precise structural handshake. Chapter 40 introduces the New Testament era with the exact same quote, in the exact same sequence, with the exact same theological shift from law to comfort. Isaiah isn't just predicting the Messiah, he is organizing the library of God. As we travel deeper into this New Testament section of Isaiah, we reach the climax of the entire code. If Isaiah 40 is Matthew, then as we count forward, we land on Isaiah chapter 53. Where does that place us in the New Testament mirror? Let's do the math. 39 books of the Old Testament plus 14 books into the New Testament lands exactly on the book of Romans, the ultimate theological explanation of the cross, justification, and the substitutionary death of Jesus Christ. And what is Isaiah chapter 53? It is universally recognized as the Holy of Holies of Old Testament prophecy, the narrative of the suffering servant. Isaiah 53 describes the crucifixion with agonizing, first-hand precision. He was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities, the chastisement for our peace was upon him, and by his stripes we are healed. 700 years before the Romans perfected crucifixion as a form of capital punishment, Isaiah penned the gospel core. Romans 5 verse 8 echoes this perfectly. God demonstrates his own love toward us, in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. The 53rd step of Isaiah matches the 53rd book of the Bible in a flawless, heart-stopping crescendo of grace. Moving past the core of the Gospels and Romans, the Isaiah Code continues its unrelenting march through the New Testament epistles. As we reach Isaiah chapters 60 through 64, we enter a zone that mirrors the late epistles of Peter, John, and Jude. Letters written to a suffering church, urging believers to hold on through trials, warning about false teachers, and pointing their eyes toward the sky, waiting for the return of the King. Listen to the parallel in Isaiah chapter 60, verse 1, Arise, shine, for your light has come. And the glory of the Lord is risen upon you. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, but the Lord will arise over you. This aligns perfectly with 1 Peter, which calls believers out of darkness into his marvelous light. Look at Isaiah 64, where the prophet cries out, "Oh, that you would rend the heavens! That you would come down, that the mountains might shake at your presence." It is the Old Testament cry that mirrors the closing epistles longing for the second coming. Finally, we arrive at the destination. The 66th book of the Bible is the book of Revelation, the apocalyptic finale of human history. Revelation chapters 21 and 22 conclude the entire biblical narrative with the destruction of evil and the birth of a glorious eternity. John writes, "Now I saw a new heaven and a new earth. And the city had no need of the sun or of the moon to shine in it, for the glory of God illuminated it." Now, let us open the final two chapters of Isaiah, chapters 65 and 66. The 65th and 66th steps of the Isaiah Code. Look at Isaiah 65, verse 17. Word for word, written 7 centuries before John's vision on the island of Patmos, "For behold, I create new heavens and a new earth. And the former shall not be remembered or come to mind." And look at how Isaiah chapter 66, the final chapter, ends. It describes all of humanity gathering from one Sabbath to another to worship before the King of Kings, while simultaneously warning of eternal judgment. It is the exact dual ending of the book of Revelation. The symmetry is complete. The microbible ends exactly where the macrobible ends. How do we explain this? How could a single book, compiled centuries before the New Testament was even a thought in human history, contain the exact numerical, thematic, and structural framework of the entire Bible? Skeptics might argue it is a coincidence. But a coincidence repeated 66 times over becomes a mathematical impossibility. The Isaiah Code leaves us with only one logical conclusion: the Bible is not an accidental collection of ancient myths. It is an intricately engineered, hyperstructural masterpiece. Isaiah's 66 chapters are the master key that unlocks the unity of the Scriptures. It proves that behind the 40 human authors who held the pens, there was only one sovereign mind who directed the history of the world. It is the unmistakable signature of the living God, written in the indelible ink of prophecy. Thank you for watching. If this deep dive blew your mind, make sure to hit that subscribe button, leave a comment below with your thoughts, and share this video with someone who needs to see the structural wonder of the Word. May God bless you on your journey of truth.